Woo!
Distinguished adventurers, welcome once again to Community Q&A, where I, Lauren, and this wonderful...
And
me, Sean. And this wonderful person below me, Sean, answer questions from the community and hang out and drink tea and talk about November and how dark it is. It is so dark.
Oh, it is very dark.
It is the darkest. This is the darkest timeline is here in the Pacific
the darkest
Northwest.
dungeon. Yeah.
It is such a dark dungeon. Hi, chat. How you doing? And how's
Hello.
everybody? And how are you doing, Sean, now that you're drinking some water?
Pretty good. Trying to get a sip in really quick there. Doing great, though. I'm excited. We have a lot of cool things coming up in the next couple of weeks and get all the planning and all the prepping.
There is a lot. There's a bunch
so
of stuff we're planning for that hasn't been announced yet. There is a bunch of stuff that has been announced. There's things that have come out. So we'll do our best to...
dance around it all.
Yes, to tell you what we can and tease what we can't and go from there. So hi. Also, thank you very much to the wonderful duo Martin and Mars, who are in chat as our moderators/producers for the show. Thank you so much for all of your help. We are grateful for all of you because we can't keep an eye on the chat all of the time. And yeah, so how's been your week?
Good. Been very busy. Prepping a bunch of new stuff that can't talk about yet. We got some secret stuff coming up, and I'm excited for Critical Role today, as always.
Oh yeah.
So that's on tonight. That's Nacho Thursday. So it's what we have every time.
I do know that.
Critical, yeah. It's our Thursday gift to ourselves is nachos. So.
I mean, that's pretty good. If I wasn't avoiding cheese, I would totally be in on those nachos. Yeah. I mean, I will sometimes just give in to nachos without cheese, which I know is sometimes considered heresy. But hey.
Is that, at that point, is it a nacho?
You know what? I'm going to say yes. Why not? Why not? Because then you put, like, not only do you get, like, really good meat, but you put, like, jalapenos, and it kind of turns more into a thick salsa. But
oh, yeah, okay.
You know what? Why not nachos?
Yeah.
Why not nachos?
Yeah.
I forgot to say. Well, first off, yay! I completed Hither in the Feywild. I should probably let's just say continue. Why not? Because new Feywild stuff came out because new Wild Beyond the Witchlight adventures just dropped. Specifically yesterday they just dropped, and so I've been trying to get through them. A couple of new variants and adventures and all sorts of fun stuff. There's the new Puff the Myconid Strap familiar.
Oh, it's so cute. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there's a Garwar raid. Yar.
Hey Garwar, and hey Raiders, welcome to Community Q&A, where we're answering your questions and chatting and talking about nachos. If you do
Raiders of the Lost Garwar, right?
Raiders of the Lost Garwar. I love it. If you do have a question, make sure you put question in big bold letters in the chat before your question, so the mods can very easily grab it and send it to our backstage chat, where we will try to answer as much as possible. While we are waiting for some of those questions to come on in, and while this raid is going on, Sean, how's my formation look?
For formation looks,
rate my formation. I've crafted a Heroes of the Plains formation.
Of course,
because I had to. Because the Feywild formation actually works out really well, because I sometimes have a problem using both Penelope and Alindra and Averin, because all three of them need to be next to your DPS, and surrounding your DPS with that many people can get a little difficult sometimes. But I think it works out pretty well here. What do you think?
It's a hard one, yeah. I'm trying to get a good view of it here. Just give me just 1 second. We got Briv Havilar up front, Penelope, Birdsong, Averin. So I guess, and this question is Birdsong your main DPS here?
Birdsong is my main DPS.
Okay.
I've been using Birdsong in my when I run a Heroes of the Plains formation. I've been using Birdsong because, I mean, first off, if I'm using all the Heroes of the Plains, there are only so many other slots that are available. And my Birdsong is pretty nicely geared.
Yeah.
I even gave her one of the Legendaries. And I think she works really well, especially because she's so fast. Yeah. So that's super helpful.
My big concern is honestly, it's Human in this formation. Because you don't have a lot of the same race.
That's true.
It's the buff that Human's providing is probably very, very little. I would honestly probably swap Human to Beetle and Grim if you have them.
I do have them. Okay.
Yeah, because Birdsong is has a high dex, right?
Should, yeah, because they're super, super fast.
Yeah, perfect.
18.
And so Beetle buffs based off of dexterity.
That's true.
So at a higher dex, he'll provide a buff. And then he's also good to swap around with Grim because of the debuff. So
That's
if you
true.
have Beetle in for a little while and you kind of start getting stuck, you swap to Grim, the debuff loads up, and when you swap back to Beetle, the debuff sticks around. So then you swap back, and then you have the higher support damage along with more debuff, and you'll deal more damage.
Okay. All right, so I got them switched. I obviously went with the dexterity ones. Grim is persisting, increases damage bonus. I haven't used Beetle and Grim a
use
lot.
that left one that increases special order. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I do have them in their epic outfit, which makes me very happy.
Oh, it's the Cyclomancer one? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that outfit. It's super cool. Super cool. All right. Well, we'll switch to there and we'll see. I don't know how far I'll get because I don't have a ton of favor in Witchlight, but maybe we'll see how far we can get. Meanwhile, I think questions have finally come on in.
And I think the other thing to do would be to switch Averin and Alindra. I think someone suggested in chat as well. Because you want Averin around as many people as possible.
That's true. And you want Alindra around only a few. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
That should get you smooth and going.
I mean, I was smooth and going before, but now I'll be even smoother and even more going. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, that looks good to me. All right. And now, look at all those questions. Lucy LRA is asking about the overlay for the overlay for the captions. Yes, we're trying to make the overlay work the best. And it is technically not an overlay, although that's the best way of describing it. For those of you who are wondering where the captions went, if you literally if you're on the PC and you hover your mouse over the screen, you'll see the baked-in Twitch captions are available. And you can change how they look and move them around a little bit. They also work on mobile, and they also work on the VODs. So when you want to watch this on Twitch before it comes to YouTube, where we also have captions, then you have a bunch of options. And, I'm going to let Sean take the WebGL question that happens next.
You just saw WebGL in the question.
I saw that, and I was just like, nope, Sean's going to be better at this. Nope.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, I don't know. I don't see. For those of us who transfer from WebGL to Steam, will there be a way for us to earn locked Steam achievements? Asks Kron 999. There should be. So what should happen is that it should automatically recognize, like once you complete another adventure, it should go, oh, you've already marked these ones as complete, and then just go like bing, 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 and unlock them all for you that you would have completed. There is obviously a bug with that, which is why it's not happening, which we are aware of and are looking into. So it is on the list, but because it's just what achievements that are kind of outside the game that don't really have a lot of effect on anything besides just a number, it's kind of low on the kind of the to fix list. But we are aware and we'll have it fixed at some point. So.
And I'll skip ahead to a related question from Doorbell Streams, who says, question, how happy will you and everybody else on the team be when the WebGL migration is complete? Pretty happy.
The great migration, yeah.
The great migration. I think not only will we be happy, I think the players will be happy. This migration, it kind of sucks that it had to happen, but I think overall people who move to a different platform will be happier. So
Very
yes,
much so. Yeah.
It will be better once it's done. I understand that getting there is half the battle, G.I. Joe, but once we're there, it'll be better for everybody. So yes, we're looking forward to that moment and where everybody's happy.
Yeah, and not having to do a whole separate code base for the same game. And having to do all the migration and all that stuff for it is, it's going to free up so much time for us to spend a lot more time. Because something you've noticed over the past couple of patches, we've been putting in a lot of fixes. So hopefully we can keep up that trend will stay going, and we'll keep putting out fixes and get the game to a much better spot.
And if you're curious about some of those fixes, if you are not sure, if you come over here, you can check out a changelog. And it'll pull up for your platform the changelog that has gone live. And so you'll actually see just a couple of days ago a nice chunk of balance changes and bug fixes and more balance changes and bug fixes and more to come.
Yeah, 4.10 had a good chunk of bug fixes in it, so
yeah.
And that's been slowly rolling out across all platforms, so I think it should be out just about everywhere as of today, except for Switch, because they just got a new update, and that means they have to wait a month.
Yeah, those slower console updates. Okay. Platforms.
All right, Morden is asking, what changes to Trials of Team matchmaking are coming? I'm having trouble getting next level due to too few people available at the time I can start a run. I don't think we have any... Oh, to start a run. Oh, for like the vial stuff?
Yeah, I've heard a couple people asking about this. Yeah.
I've heard some complaints and issues too, but I don't know any changes currently. Nothing that I think has been officially fleshed out and said like, yes, this is what we're doing. There have been some ideas, but nothing that has yet to be implemented or have any plan to at this point. Like I know, like we talked about some changes, but I don't know what they are or when they're coming, so I don't really have any information on that.
But we're like we kind of have been for the last couple of weeks and months, especially with Trials when it came out. We're still looking at a lot of the information coming on in and taking in a lot of suggestions. But yes, what you've mentioned is something that we've heard about. Mm-hmm. And I'll grab this next one for reasons. Dan's J4B is basically asking about a fun thing that might be happening tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's going to be.
A super fun announcement that might be coming tomorrow. That for reasons that I might be excited about. You should.
It's just a little fun, right?
Yeah, you should definitely check out the blog tomorrow. That should go live. That is gonna have some fun information in it.
Yeah, don't be scared of the blog. It doesn't bite. So
the blog is good. Blogs are fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha Crawl has a question. The potion of the Gem Hunter does the bonus add 50% to the entire gem drop, or is it before the other bonuses you might have? Also, does it run up or down? Does it sum up all half, or does it sum up all the half gems up until the next drop so you don't lose gems? Oh boy. Good question.
Sorry, while you're thinking about that, I just saw AU Strike in the chat. I hear there are a lot of bloodsuckers in the blog. Oh, but blogs are good.
Yeah. So definitely, I think it'll bust the base, I believe. I think that's how it works. It'd go like the base, and then base, and then probably a blessing, and then the potion. I'm actually not 100% sure how that stacks, because the other one just adds 1 to your drop, and then the potion is 50%, right? So it's only half a gem.
Which is the one I got going
likely
right now.
Rounds up.
Yeah,
so.
This is those. I got the psychomorphic going on, but I think I've got.
Yeah, because the Gem Hunter is it just adds 50% of increased gems.
Yeah, increased gem drops from bosses by 50%. But what was the other potion again?
It was just that one potion. It's about how it affects the gem drop. My assumption is that it goes base, blessing, potion, and then we'll round up any sort of half.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So if anything, we would err in the favor of the player,
as we normally try to do.
Yeah. Banana Mobster question: what is the best plague upgrade path for Krull? That's a good.
I'm a fan of Pain unless there's a reason in where I need money.
yeah. Pain or Pilfer are my two preferred two as well. So, I mean, Pilfer if you need money, Pain if you need to do damage.
All three are good, but I've been leaning into Pain because most of the time when I'm grabbing Krull, it's they're specifically buffing in the formation of the DPS. So that's my favorite for Krull. I haven't been able to use Krull as often as I've wanted to recently, but I'll have to put together some formations for Krull.
Yeah, I've been sticking with an Ashara formation for a while now, so Krull's been kind of put on the back burner because they share a slot with Ashara. So
Yeah, Ashar has been my DPS for my trials runs, although right now I'm between trials runs at the moment. And then when I do my Ashara runs, often I am grabbing some of the Heroes of the Plains. I'm grabbing Orkira, I'm grabbing Avrin, I'm often grabbing Freely. Sometimes I'm grabbing Briv. It depends on what I'm trying to do. But yeah, so with those, then I can't do a full Heroes of the Plains formation because then I can't have Alindra. So
yeah. My trials right now is a strength requirement, which means Avon doesn't pass it, and I didn't realize how much of a boost Avon really gives my party.
Yeah.
So I have to hit 1150, and I'm struggling around 1080 right now, or 1080.
Yeah, Avrin, every once in a while when someone talks about his build in the game, I have to struggle to remember which version of Avrin that is because, well, there was a while in where he was a Hexblade Warlock, which is, I think, I'm not remembering specifically which Warlock version he is in here, but the fun thing about the Hexblade, because he literally started off, at least in our games, carrying around like one of those giant swords. But they can use charisma instead of strength for their modifier when they hit people. So he's never had like an amazing strength. But then he was also an artificer for a while. And
still not getting strength for that. So
you don't need strength, but it's a little more helpful to have a little bit of strength. But probably still not enough for that strength requirement. So when you said that, I had this moment of like, oh wait, which version of Avrin is this? Oh wait,
Yeah, I was like, does he have a +2 strength feat? I was like, he doesn't. Dang.
Nah. Yeah. No. Yeah, I think we have any +2 to anything feats? I thought they were all +1.
I think Havilar has a +2 feat.
Oh, you might be right.
That came out like I think a couple weeks ago or like a month or two ago.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's whoopsie. Oh yeah, increase the charisma score by Havilar by 2. Oh, the connoisseur fancy. Why are all my feats? All my feats are sad. Oh, there we go.
Look, nothing happened.
No, it's all fine. Everybody, it's all fine. When in doubt, just scroll.
Yeah.
I actually should play around with some of her feats because I don't think I haven't actually updated this. So we want her leadership summary. I don't think we need her constitution or her charisma up right now because they're just if you're just in a normal adventure, then let's just increase everybody's. There we go.
Yeah.
Excuse me as I continue to futz with my formation. Meanwhile, back to questions.
Dreskov _Eagle Owl. Will we be adding more playable races like Kinku or Yuan-Ti? We do have a Yuan-Ti in Sasaspia, who's in slot 1.
There she is.
Yeah. I actually quite like using Sasaspia. She's a pretty good buffer and healer and debuffer. She does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Kinku, we don't have anything planned for that quite yet. There are so many races in D&D, so we'd like to obviously have everything in it. We're still missing like Triton, the Leonin one. What's the giant, the big elephant headed guys?
Oh, Loxodons!
Yeah, Loxodons. That's we're missing Loxodons. Yeah.
I still want to play my Loxodon rogue. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch we want to add still, so we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're working on it. There is more in D&D than we could ever add at one time.
Yeah. Dan SSJ4B has a question. Says Penelope got a lot of buffs and Shaka got one. Why no Minsk upgrades when he's easily the weakest of the bunch? I already use Penelope a ton. I never use Minsk unless I have to. The biggest reason there is Minsk is balanced around being an evergreen champion, like a core champion, rather than being based around any sort of event champion strength. So the core ones are in special spots. They have to kind of be where they're at, and then event champions are the ones that usually get adjusted and stuff. So.
And this was a good time because yay, Penelope and Idle Champions presents.
Woo. Level 20, her little like cloak with all the flowers still on it. It's so cute.
Yeah, her
the
shrub
upgraded
cloak.
version. Yeah.
I love that shrub cloak so much. It's adorable and it's functional and she does so much fun things with it. That's more in the D&D game than in our game. In Idle Champions, it's just basically adorable. But in the D&D game, it actually it helps with her stealth. It does a bunch of things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Matt Ender has a question. Says, Trials of Mount Tiamat. and the drift problem. Every time I hear the drift problem, I just think of like
Tokyo
Initial
Drift?
D. Yeah, like Initial D is where my head goes to first.
Yeah.
When can this be fixed? Are you going to do the simplest, a little less than 7 days, or one of the more complex options? I don't know when it's going to be fixed. I think we're going to go with the simple one. Anything more complex just seems like more room for error. So I would assume that when we do a fix, it'll be the little less than 7 days. Andrea Raven says, what does the updated the minimum amount of time needed to complete an area in offline progress from 60 seconds to 40 seconds? Does this mean that using a speed pot will make it less than 60 seconds than it is the normal? So that part of the changelog meant that that usually you'd only need if you beat an area, you have to wait at least 60 seconds to move on to the next one for offline progress. We've now adjusted that to being 40 seconds. So because even in offline progress, the areas can be beat pretty quickly, but it'll wait to make sure that it's you have actually beaten it, and it'll count to 60 and then move on to the next area and go like 1 a minute. But now it'll be one area every 40 seconds if you can beat it within that 40-second time limit. You can go over the 40 seconds, which is totally fine. But if the game recognizes it's taking too long, it will just it'll just end the simulation there, and you'll be on. When you come back, you'll be on that area. So.
And I'll actually grab the next one. We can go back and forth here for a little bit. Ghost Wheel 10 says, question. I just got started with Idle Champions a couple weeks ago. Hey, welcome.
Woo,
I
well
see
done.
everyone's level for gold damage at E notations. I'm currently hitting the wall at level 150. Is there a guide or walkthrough on how to achieve those levels? There are quite a few. First off, Garwar probably has a guide for that. Go look for Garwar's guides. In general, come to our YouTube and our Discord and also the subreddit for Idle Champions. There's a bunch of different guides depending on not just getting past your wall and progressing further, but doing other things that you might be interested in doing, completing some of the more hard variants, unlocking other champions, that kind of thing. But for simply helping to increase your ability to get further in the game, definitely take a look at those guides. The biggest thing that I would just in general recommend, without knowing anything about your game or any of the specifics, is don't sit at your wall and don't be afraid to restart often. So it can be tempting when you get to your wall to play with a formation, try other things, add in potions, do stuff like that to try to push. Just go ahead and reset and do another run, because the game is going to reward you every time you reset. Even if you're trying to do a variant and you haven't gotten far enough to complete it, you're going to earn favor, you're going to earn gems, you're going to earn all of the stuff you need to level everything up so you can get that little bit further. So don't be cautious when you get to your wall. Go ahead and just reset immediately and just keep trying. And then the other suggestion I have is come to the Discord, because depending on what champions you have unlocked and what specific areas you are working on, you can get a lot of specific help from the Discord. There's channels that are dedicated to new players, to formations, to all sorts of stuff. And you can come in and say, hey, here are the champions I got. Here's what I'm working on. Here's the formation I'm currently using. Anyone got any suggestions? And you can get some really good specific help. And that is discord.gg/idle champions, which I've also put into the chat. And I'm going to say right at this moment how proud I am of the fact that I was able to type Discord into the chat and also talk about the Discord, because usually I can't type and talk at the same time.
That's tough. That's tough, yeah.
I can do one word now, which is !Discord.
That's good. My only little amendment would just say that if you hit your wall, you spend like 10 minutes there. Try a couple of things, but probably not waste potions. Try like level things up, move things around, try different champions. If it doesn't work, then just reset and move on again. Because the goal is to always get to your wall and kind of see if you can get past it. If you can't, then great, reset, start again, rinse, repeat. Make sure you're spending your gems on chests or familiars. There's also a guide for that.
There are so many Garwar's guides. There are so many. Here, let me put our YouTube in the chat as well. Also,
there's also the GVA, right?
Oh, that's the gem guide, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's not there anymore. That code did that one change?
That one might have changed. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Martin and Mars. Thank you. Also,
I knew Eminem would have it.
Also, I'm going to say for S. Blackheart, who says, Lauren has leveled up to walking and chewing gum at the same time achievement. Yes. Yes, I have. My dexterity has gone up by 1.
Yeah. All right. Malphazine is asking, will Founders Pack 3 ever be available again on Steam? Or will the Hedgehog family be available through another way? The Founders Pack 3 will not ever be available again. It has been retired, as it does every year with every Founders Pack. The Hedgehog family will be available in wild offers at some point.
Alfalker asks for Lauren, any update about the D&D 4E campaign you talked earlier about running? I would watch that, even if it's just you and B-Dave talking about the differences in rules for a few hours. I mean, there's a lot of differences. No updates, mostly because every time I've talked with people about playing D&D, we end up playing 5e. Just because there's so much going on, and not just like the standard stuff that D&D put out, but like all of the other supplemental content that's come out in a bunch of places. I still would love to do a 4E game for a bunch of people and kind of show off the best parts of that for especially new players, but I think Sean wants to do that. B-Dave is super duper busy, and I know he and I have talked about getting together to do that, mostly for like a charity game or something. But at this point, there's a lot of charity going on, and most of that is also 4th edition or 5th edition. So no updates on that yet. But I still have it in the back of my mind, and maybe one day, maybe one day when I'm not still reading through Fizzbands and getting ready for a whole bunch of other charity games. I mean, I've got 2 different charity games this weekend that are both for like giant marathons, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So it's a 5th edition of Palooza.
5th edition of Palooza.
Yeah.
I like it.
But yes, it is not forgotten. It's just shelved for the moment.
Yeah, maybe New Year. Maybe sometime in the New Year then.
Maybe, yeah. As I said, because I think the way it would work would have to be. I mean, especially get B-Dave. I think the only way I'd get him is a charity thing. And there's a lot of charity stuff that's happening in the next 2 months or so. This is kind of tis the season.
Yeah.
And so I'm at this point focused on just supporting other charity streams going on, whether it's playing in them or showing up in chat and that kind of thing. And I don't know if the appetite for a 4th edition charity stream is there when there's already like this amazing group of 5th edition stuff and other games, like, you know, across the TTRPG spectrum. The other thing that's a little more difficult with running a 4th edition game is you really need a battle map. You really need a battle map. And I am 100% a Theater of the Mind DM whenever I can. So coming up with a way to make the 4th edition stuff work with a battle map is like an extra thing, but I still want to do it. I like the idea of like just getting together with B-Dave and talking through, or a bunch of people and just talking through some of the differences, but also it would have to be in the positive way. It would have to be in the, here's things that 4th edition did well that we could bring into 5th edition, and here's the stuff that we can just leave in the past. So I like that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm just going to call this out because it's on our overlay. Mess Duval says, I can't wait for the Displacer kitty. Yay!
Oh, it's so cute.
It's
oh my
so
god.
Cute. Yes. It's coming up soon. Soon. Let me. Excuse me. Clear my throat.
Yeah. Orkira, you here?
Sorry.
Yeah.
That the weird thing about the Orkira voice, I never have to worry about clearing my throat.
Yeah.
Because I'm just doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Frog in the Throat hex casted. Yes, thank you, S. Blackheart. I'm blanking on the date that I think it's November. I'm gonna look up the date that the Extra Life, the Displacer Beast kitty is available. You'd get the next question.
18th, isn't it?
I'm gonna double check that now. We've announced it, so I feel comfortable grabbing it. But right. you go on.
Yeah. Next question from an awesome username, Pug Sandwich.
Oh.
Little pug and 2 pieces of bread. If you have a bunch of mobs on screen with Krull debuffs on, and someone like Zorbu hits one, killing them all, do those kills count for Zorbu or for Krull? I think they're attributed to click damage. They would attribute to nobody. So Zorbu hits somebody, that triggers Traitor, which then triggers Traitor, which then triggers Traitor, and which then kills everybody. The ones that were killed by Traitor, I believe, are attributed to either Krull or click damage. Fun fact, if you are on Steam, or if you're on any of the Unity platforms, if you hold Control and then hit LLL 3 times really fast, you open up a kill log. And you'll be able to see what is killing it. You'll be Zorbu killed, blah, blah, blah. Krull killed, blah, blah, blah. So you try to keep watch of that, and it should work. So.
I'm sorry, that sounded like one of those, just go into the bathroom and say the boogeyman's name 3 times, and then you'll be able to pull up a kill log. Like, that sounded like something we needed to talk about during Spooky Month. Also, I have confirmed, November 17th is the release of Star the Displacer Beast. That's the Displacer Beast kitty. So if you are looking forward to getting a new familiar for charity that is adorable, Star, I'm excited.
Yep. But how do you turn off the kill log? There's like a little close button at the very bottom, so you can hit close at the bottom.
So wait, you said any Unity platform? So I'm on Steam. So what was that again? So
if you hold Control and then hit LLL. Hey, there you go.
There we go.
The giant spider killed by bailout. So you can kind of watch this and see, and then when you're done with it, in the bottom right hand corner, there's a little hide button. You can go, I'm done with this, and then.
I'm kind of fascinated by this. I've learned something new today too. I've never actually seen this. Oh yeah. This is the moment when people talk about Orkira actually being DPS. She's not. It's just every once in a while she destroys the universe with fire, and then all of a sudden it's like Orkira is just taking over. But like you'll notice once she's no longer raining fire and death down on the entire battlefield, she goes back to being a buffer. So yeah, there we go. Now we got Birdsong and yeah. Okay, and then I can see
you're on a low enough area that like everyone in your party is pretty much killing somebody, right? So.
Yeah, although we should start getting to the point in where Birdsong is going to be doing most of the kills if I've set up this as a correct formation, because like I said, I don't have a ton of favor in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, so I suspect I will get closer to my wall here than normally. Like my wall right now is around like 800 or so. So we'll see. And then I can kind of see because where this hide button is. Yeah,
it's a little bit of an odder spot then. So yeah, there's a hide button. So and you hit hide and it goes away. Then boom.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still just distracted.
Still watching? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why this is mesmerizing, but we'll go back to normal stuff. There we go.
All right, Nazgul 666. How difficult are trials for T-Mat for kind of beginners? Like I've done about 10 missions in Avernus. I guess I could get there, but I prioritize patron favor since for a while now instead. I mean, the first one is meant to be like super easy. So as long as you're doing and completing your first bit, and you'll be fine. By the time you've finished Avernus, you'll be able to probably do the first 2 to 3 trials of T-Mat, and then maybe after that it might get a little bit more difficult, but should be pretty easy for the first couple ones.
Also,
like the one I'm on right now has the first one is reach area 1150. So. Yeah, now we're in the harder stuff.
Now you're getting to the tough stuff, yeah. Also, like, Star Chaser 43, when Orkira destroys the entire universe, would that be maximum bud spiking? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
like Doorbell Stream says, if you can unlock trials, you can do trials.
Yeah.
At least the first couple ones. Then it starts like picking up, so.
And don't feel bad if you end up doing a bunch of the lower level ones for a while. Like, you don't have to continue to go to the higher level ones every single time, because you're still going to earn stuff. And so if you're having problems competing at those higher levels, finishing objectives and things, go ahead and do the beginner ones and just do a bunch of those. The same way at the beginning of the game, you can't get that far in an adventure and you have to restart and go again and again and again sometimes in order to get to the harder stuff. It's the same thing here. Go back to your roots, people.
Yeah. And like J-Dog says, like if you when you do the earlier trials, you can then forge legendaries to make yourself stronger, to try higher trials, to get more scales, to forge a bit more legendaries, and the rinse repeat happens. So.
All right, I have to ask about legendaries because and I'm not going to get into numbers here because I can't. But Sean, I need to know, who do you have legendaries on, and why did you pick them?
Well, Ashara, for sure. So she's got a ton of legendaries. I think I pretty much whoever was in my Ashara formation started getting legendaries. So I think Baloth has a bunch, Ashara has a bunch. I don't think I've done Briv yet. I think I've got a couple on Averin. Yeah, I think those have been my first couple ones. I was like, okay, well, these are the champions I use all the time, so I'm gonna make sure that they get legendaries first.
Yeah.
So
I've been doing something similar. I certainly have spread them out a little bit more, and hey, there might be a reason where Orkira has more. Yeah, This was my first. Also, this is the first one I upgraded, so definitely, hey Harold, your accordion is legendary. Yeah, I've got on. I haven't put on Baloth, but I've got 2 on Ashara because I've been using her a lot. I know I've got 1 on Birdsong because, like I said, I've been using her in a lot of my Heroes of the Plains formations.
Yeah.
I probably should put 1 on Baloth. I am using him in my trials, but it is hard to pick, and it definitely it does make me want to be like, but I like this champion. I want them to have pretty gear. Yeah,
that's my biggest thing. The champions that I use the most are the ones that are going to get it first. That's just the simplest. I might just do Xander to make it funny. just give Xander all legendaries first. But all right, Xander, you're all legendary out.
I can't wait to see the chat when you show up on stream with Xander with all legendaries.
With Rosie, Delina, Xander.
Actually, no, that's even better. Delina, all legendaries.
I might have already done it, actually. Because I love using Delina. I love trolling with her. So I might have already fully legendated her out. If not, I'm doing that after I'm done here.
See, now I feel like I need to start putting legendaries on Dragonbait.
Ooh. I don't know.
I like using Dragonbait, too. Yeah. I don't get to use him nearly as often because I got Averin, Warden, and Nova, and Ariza. And, like, this slot is super hard. This slot is super hard to pick somebody. But anyway, I like that plan. I want to be there when you show that off on stream.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Mars has fully legendaried his Ashara this week, so congratulations.
Ooh, nice.
Well, now I got to know from chat. Let us know. Do you have any characters? Do you have any champions that have full legendary gear?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Friday Siwoo has a question. Sean, don't monks have to be some form of neutral? How are you chaotic good? Well, monks don't have to be neutral or anything. This isn't first edition. I don't know. This was like a name. It was like, I don't know where I came up with this. I think the first character I ever made was a chaotic good monk, and it was around that time I was like, oh, I should make a Twitter. Oh, I'm playing a chaotic good monk. Okay.
There you go.
There you go. There's my Twitter handle.
Listen, if paladins don't have to be lawful anymore, then monks don't have to be anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I tend to ignore the rules, but it's for the good of people, so. That's why I give away so much stuff sometimes.
That's why most of our champions that are from streamers are chaotic good. Chaotic good is just a solid... I don't think people go out of their way to make champions or make characters in D&D that are chaotic good. I feel like chaotic good just happens to be the best descriptor for a lot of characters on streams.
Yeah.
Because you want to do good in most cases. You want to be good people and help people and go out on heroic adventures. That's kind of the jive of D&D, although you can do other things. And then you don't always want to be like, but I can't help you because of the law. And neutral, like, I think also most people, when they create characters, they don't want to be neutral in anything. They want to have their characters have opinions and make choices and do stuff. So chaotic good just tends to be that really sweet spot.
Yeah. Well, it's the easy catch-all, too. Anything chaotic good or chaotic neutral to be like, yeah, I can do what I want when I want. And no one can say anything about it because I'm chaotic good or neutral. So, hey, I'm free.
Wait. People can still say things about it.
Yeah.
Just because you're chaotic good does not get you out of the consequences of your actions. Your alignment is not an excuse.
Yeah. That's what my character would do.
This is what? Yeah. No, never.
None of that.
Never
I hate
do that.
Yeah.
Here's my D&D PSA for right now. If your answer to why your character would do, why you're doing something in game is because you think your character would do that and you don't have another justification, change what your character's doing because you're probably not doing something that the rest of the players want you to do. And I mean players, because the DM is a whole separate thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Mantis 5005 says, am I the only one who would love it if I could click on an epic equipment item down on the champs bar and directly go to the legendary forge for that item, even if it only works for the champions currently swapped? Oh, that's kind of neat. I feel like that is not intuitive at all, though. And I think if you clicked on it and it opened up, you'd be like, what? And then kind of, like your first time doing it would be very awkward. So I think it'd be neat to have like a section maybe in their character sheet where you'd open them up and you can be like, go to their legendary, like forge legendary, and you can get, it'll bring you to their thing there.
Maybe. I don't know. That whole thing is so new right now. It's hard to tell. And I say new. It's been out for a couple. What are we at? Months now? Oh, jeez. Where did the time go?
I think we're on like a month and a half. I think I'm on like the 6th, 7th one.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of how long this game has been out, which has been multiple years, and this is a whole new thing that you can do in the game, I think we always want to be aware that we don't want to overload how we change up how you find where stuff is. And but it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Also, everybody's talking about alignment now. I have to address some of this because a lot of this is good. So first
chaotic
off,
tired.
Yeah, chaotic tired. Aren't
Preach.
we all? S. Blackheart says, my DM doesn't allow alignments. He just lets us play and choose so that we can concentrate on RP and development. I like that. I think as players and DMs, that's the best way. Pick a character, choose a character trait, play your character as the way that you envision your character. And then the alignment is kind of decided after the fact. And especially with 5th edition, moving away from alignment having consequences for everything except very specific things. I think that's definitely the way to go. What for D&D in-game D&D, tabletop D&D. Maleficent says most time people don't play chaotic neutral. They play chaotic not nice person. And you can get away with that as long as you talk to the rest of your party. You can be evil. You can be not nice and then have that be your character arc of growth. But I would talk to the players about that, just so that they don't get sick of your character. And then there was something else on here. Oh, that was the lurking writer saying chaotic tired is my in real life alignment. Yeah, I want a neutral nap. Can we neutral nap here?
Yeah, this is now a nap stream, so I'm gonna go lay down right over here. And goodbye, guys.
All right, everybody, nap time.
Yeah, nap time.
Everybody set up your formations. We're going to let this run for a little while, and then we're going to take a 20-minute nap and listen to the lovely music. And then in 20 minutes, we'll wake. It's a new stream idea I just had. But walls and naps.
I like it. Sorry, nap time for the win. Yeah, that's it.
The game should have a little pop-up of like, this is going to take approximately 20 minutes. Would you like to take a nap?
Yes.
Like
yes,
those Netflix alerts that's like, hey, you've been watching like 7 episodes in a row. Are you still awake? And yes, please keep playing. Keep going.
Yeah, there is a Twitch category for people sleeping.
And yes, Go Player 7, actually idling and idle champions. So I've talked about this before. I'm the player who sets and forgets. I'm the player who does a whole bunch of stuff for like 5 or 6 minutes, and then I just let it run in the background while I'm doing a bunch of other things, or sometimes even walk away from the computer. So yeah, I do a lot of that. I do a ton of letting it play and run and not actively playing. So it takes me sometimes a little longer to get through things, but it's good for the way that I like to play. And I like that this game offers a myriad of options to help with people like me who don't necessarily have a ton of time to play, but little bits here and there. And then also other people who want to be super active and actively play and work on something. They can also have fun. And then I just come back when work here as destroying the universe.
A lot of people play this game at work, surprisingly.
I mean, technically I'm playing this game at work right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think ours is a little bit different, just a little bit.
Tiny bit different. Yeah. I don't always have it running. This stream is actually a outlier as far as having the game running while I'm streaming, because I'm showing the game. But a lot of the time, and has nothing to do with the game, a lot of the time when I'm streaming, I'm trying to have as few things running on my computer as possible.
Yeah.
So, but there's been once or twice in where those of us in the Heroes of the Plains crew are just like, so the stream went down, or there's a clip out there of Jen that is beautiful, that like we used to do an opening and then we would play the credits and then we would come back. So we'd introduce ourselves and then play the opening, and there'd be this basically minute-long video. And there's this beautiful clip of Jen after we did the opening as we're transitioning to playing the opening credit video, where she's like, oh good, I can take a second and level up my champions.
Nice.
And I'm like, yes, do both.
I'm playing D&D live right now, but I'm also playing All Champions on the side, so don't mind me.
Oh, and our mods have made a list of chat responses for Legendaries. So we had asked a little earlier in the show about if you've fully legendaried out one of your champions. So here we go. JS Inda has Dinar all gold. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alfalker says, got Zorbu to full legendary. Murder Gnome. Doorbell Stream says, I have full legendary on Ashara I'll have full legendary on Ashara in 2 weeks. Nice.
Close.
Nice. Lucy LRA says, my Prudence is full legendary. Oh, yes.
Excellent choice.
Yes, go for the total murder tiefling legendary. I love it. Alan W. Gray says, yes, Krull has full legendary. Krull's also a really good choice. I love the variety that we're getting here, and they're all good choices.
Yep.
Nixus, Ashara full legendary here too. Ashara does seem to be a popular favorite. Mavunkin says, I have Krull. All right, so now that I've said we have a variety, it's just Ashara Krull.
Now we're on the repeat, yeah.
JDog2773 says, 7th legendary forged went to Hitch. Hey! Charisma boy, throwing those daggers. I love it. Arin says Baloth for their legendaries. That totally makes sense. I mean, he likes the shinies. Consig says, not yet, but likely Lazapaz. I always get this name wrong. Lazaps. I want to go Lazapaz, but I'm trying to be better. Lazaps. Lazaps is so good. They don't get enough credit because they're kind of in an interesting spot. But on a regular basis, and I'm still missing 2 purples. That's painful. But yeah, Lazaps is a super good choice because having a tank in that slot that is good for a bunch of patron stuff that you don't often have a tank for. Let's see. And finally, Cat's Tees Sweaters. I gave Brunner full legendary because he's been there for me since the beginning. Tutorial Dwarf deserves to be decked out in gold.
What a god. Yeah, that is the best response we've got.
That is kudos to you.
Yeah.
I love it. And now I need to follow suit.
Yeah. And your friends have been there since the beginning. Those are the real friends.
Tutorial Dwarf, best dwarf, deserves all the gold.
Yeah. Long may he reign.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Monkey House has a question. If there is something up with Trials of Mount Tia met today, I have not seen any parties. And when I did see one, I tried to join, but it was full at 1 out of 5 people. Maybe there's been a that might just been like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Update issue, where you just it filled up and just hadn't updated to 5 out of 5 yet.
As far as
the other parties, I'm not too sure.
I'm wondering, now that we've had trials for 2 months or so, if there's any information about when more people start their trials than others. And so trials dropped on a Wednesday, right? Trials dropped on a Wednesday, so I'd imagine there's a ton of people who Wednesday is the day that they're starting their trials, but there's probably plenty of people like me who intentionally delayed their trials start to other days for a variety of reasons, whether you just don't want it to start in the middle of the weekday because of work. I moved it to Friday because I had a friend that I wanted to be able to play with, and he had moved it to Friday so that he could make sure he started on a weekend so that he had more time at the beginning. But I'd be really curious if we have any kind of stats on when people start trials, if that's shifted at all.
Yeah, I think Wednesday is still probably the main day. It's just now, because of the drift, it's Wednesday a little bit later in the day. I think my trial started around like 4 p.m. on Wednesday. So I think it's still around there, and then depending on people, maybe you go on the weekends, might start it there too. So
yeah. Friday has tended to be a pretty good day for me, so yeah, I had to wait 2 days, but now I get to play with my friend, and we're able to put in a lot more time over the weekend, which is super helpful, especially if we decide to do an easier trial, and it's like we just want to kind of blow through this weekend and not have to worry about it next week. So
yeah. Yep. Nitsuka has a question. Although Puff was right-handed in the voting and Button was left-handed, the Puff from the shop is left-handed. Does it mean that Puff is ambidextrous, or that Button killed Puff and usurped its name?
I love both of these ideas. I want both of them to be true. Please tell me.
I will leave that to your imagination, because I don't have... Any answer I can provide is not good enough to match that.
So, I don't know if this is related. We were talking about this on the Sketching Hour recently, which if you don't watch, Sketching Hour is a show I do on Wednesdays with Alexis and Michelle, two of the artists from Idle Champions. And the question came up, how come so many of the champions are left-handed in this game? And it's literally a art thing with, if you take a look at the formation right now, if any of these characters were carrying any of their weapons on the right side, because we are kind of watching from that side, the weapons would get in their way. It would literally, be in the way of their bodies. So, like, Briv is carrying his sword on his left side. Penelope is carrying her staff on her left side. Havilar is a two-handed...
Or Kira's holding cotton candy on her left side.
Well, yeah, and I don't attack with the cotton candy, but So a lot of the champions end up, when they're holding a weapon, even if they don't end up using that weapon in their animations, because like Orkira is a magical attack, then it's on the left side for clarity and art reasons. I wonder if this is the same. That's probably the real answer. I love the idea that Button killed Puff and usurped their name.
Yeah.
And now whenever they show up in the Trials of Mount Tiamat, or in the Idle Champions Presents on Mondays, that might actually be Button.
Yeah. So whenever there's a scene where it's just the Mike and Sprout where no one's looking, he's like, I always hated Puff, just in the background. But then people turn around and he's like, oh hi, like all nice and happy. But like when the camera pans away, he's got like the little red glint in the eye, like oh god, he's a murderer.
Do we think? I don't know. I have no idea, but I love it so much. It's not canon. It's not. Puff and Button are both adorable and fine and lovely, and both are alive and doing well in a farm upstate.
Yeah. That's true. Octisis is asking, how about unlock trials? You unlock trials by finishing the main adventures in Descent into Avernus. So that would mean you have to finish El Torel's Last Stand. Once that's done, you'll get the option to play an adventure called The Mad God, which will unlock Tiamat. Unlock Trials of Mount Tiamat. Not unlock Tiamat. Tiamat the champion. All of the formation.
You kind of do unlock... other people unlock Tiamat, and then it's your job to stop that from happening. Also, Also, I'm back in chat. So Friday CWU says, spoiler, Puff is the big bad for Trials of Mount Tiamat. I love that. And Cassie's 335, plot twist, Button works for Tiamat. And the Lurking Writer says, Lauren, that got dark. Yeah. But sometimes I go there. Yeah.
I just imagine like they finally get to Tiamat and Puff is standing on Tiamat's body with a little dagger and it's like, you were too slow. It's like, oh my god.
Or so what I was thinking was that maybe this is not that that Button is evil. Like, this isn't like a good and evil thing. It's just maybe Button and Puff, things went bad between the two of them. But otherwise, they're both wonderful, lovely, helping the champions, Myconids. But we just learn that Button is super deadly. And so that's the moment where the champions show up, and they're all, like, spoiler alert for Party 1, they're in rough shape. Who knows what Party 2 is going to look like? That's a rough fight if they show up and they're already depleted to fight Tiamat. But then Button, as Puff, appears in epic form with a knife and ready to help. Oh, I love
Knife and a cape of billowing, all prepared. Yeah.
This is my new headcanon. We'll have to watch on Mondays for the Idle Champions Presents game to see if any of this is true.
Yeah.
Probably not.
And then in chat, just go Button and Puff win. Just keep saying that. Yeah.
Oh no! Don't do that! Don't do that because no one's gonna know what's going on.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. TD Sparkler is asking, higher difficulties of trials give a range of chests, such as 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. Is there an amount of chests you receive based on anything, such as rank and damage, or is it simply random? It's just random. If we tiered it by like how much damage you did, people would be, would probably be a little frustrated sometimes if people were doing more damage than they weren't getting as much, and yeah. So it's easier just like it's random. Here you go, have some chests. Friday, see any news you can leak about the dev team potentially reworking the Forge screen to make it easier to use, like to see what items are legendary, which aren't. Can't you already see which ones are legendary in the Forge screen? It's the orange border of them, right? So
in the Forge screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's my Ashara.
Yes, it's orange. Yeah, so the orange bordered ones are the ones you'll see with that are legendary. So
yeah, because it's a border and a border, so you end up like the Ashara one for me is showing off pretty nicely because that was a gold before I also made it legendary, so it's a gold. Let's see if I can...
Do you have any that aren't gold?
Yeah, so here's Birdsong that I made, and so that one is, I think it was purple? It's a little harder to tell.
Well, yeah, that one is, it's orange now, though. That's the important part. The outline is orange, so that'll show that it's legendary.
Yep, and I'll go, let's find my... If you want to go into the next question, now I'm just like scrolling through and looking for... There's Orkira. Aha.
Hey.
It makes me so happy. Okay, sorry.
Onyx Square says, hi, Sean and Lauren. I've been setting up Electrums to open up from an upcoming Timegate champion. Are there any recommended amounts from doing a Timegate one champ or an event 3 champions? I'm being a 50 per unequipped champion. Thank you. I don't think there's really a recommended amount because you only get one piece of gear from an Electrum chest. That's randomized between, well, not really randomized, but follows a certain set of rules between common to rare. I don't think there is a specific amount you want to open. I would say just open them until you have the ones that you want. If you're doing the collection thing, make sure all your whites and greens are filled in for that one champion you get. And then move on to the next one, which could be, 50. So, or what would that be? 20. If you get them all perfect, it's 20 chests. I think that's how that math works. No, that's wrong.
No? Okay. I was going to trust your math.
18. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think there's a set amount, but just kind of open until you attain what you want and then move to the next one.
I'm going to jump in here. First off, the Lurking Writer, hear me out. What if the real BBEG of this event was Tia What?
What?
I mean, I would love that. I don't know how you would explain that to the greater D&D watching community, but I would love for B-Dave to try. And then
that's the April Fool's stream we're doing, right? Tia What?
Just Tia What?
Tia What?
I mean, maybe. And then Doorbell Stream says, I want Tia What to show up in some capacity. I mean... Who knows? Who knows what'll happen? Also, I did notice it is noon, so we are an hour into the stream. So not only are we going to be having new people join us because we'll be having the new in-game alert, but I believe a new vote is about to be available if it hasn't already updated. It has. So let's...
It's voting time.
Yay, let's take a look. So, all right, first, I'm going to go ahead and claim my gold Dahani chest.
That was closer than I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie.
All right. Let's see, 52 to 48. That was pretty close. My murder burb. My friend. I had to. I mean, I love Minsk and Boo, but I had to go for Dahani. So here we go. So we've done this before. I will do this again. This is going to be a hard thing for me to choose, so I will leave it up to the chat. Mods, if we could get a I've just lost the word for it. A poll. If we could get a poll going in chat about who I should vote for, which champion finds a new shiny item in the next episode. Is it Shaka from Rivals of Waterdeep or Penelope from Heroes of the Plains? And I'm going to leave it up to the chat because I don't know how I can... I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards Heroes of the Plains because these are my people, these are my family, and I have to. How can I not vote for Penelope? But Shaka is awesome, and the Rivals of Waterdeep are amazing, and Orkira knows Celise, so she wants to help out her friends who are in Rivals. And both of these are super good, so...
Both the rewards say Shaka.
I mean, I have 3 votes, so I could put in both, but for the chat... We're gonna pick one. I'm gonna put all 3 of my votes into one.
The acorn one is for Penelope. I know it says Shaka, but it is a Penelope item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny. You vote for Penelope and then Shaka. You know what? Penelope is the kind of character who would get a shiny epic slot item and give it to someone else. So I can totally see Penelope doing that. So that's not a typo. That is literally what Penelope would do.
That's probably just a copy paste and someone just changed the 3 to a 5. It's like, all right, we're moving on.
Hey, listen, there's a lot that happens. This is
a
why
lot.
typos.
There's a lot of text entry in this if you didn't realize. So
yeah, but also I choose to believe that this is true in the canon for Penelope because she's actually given away magic items to NPCs, to other characters. Yeah, she's that kind of person.
Hey, can you hold this deck and draw a card?
Can you just take it? She gave she had a cloak before her shrub cloak. She had a magic cloak that did something. I don't remember what it was, but she when we were in Rexingtrum, we came across a bunch of people. Literally, it was a couple who were trying to get back to their kids. She gave them her cloak because it was one of the items that helps hide you. That helps your stealth rolls and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has given pretty powerful stuff just to people who need it because she's that kind of character. Orkira gave the holy symbol of Ravenkind to a bunch of Kuatoa that came by because they needed some help with figuring out a god they really wanted to actually pray to. So yeah, we've given our shinies, and Shaka has certainly been very generous and helpful with his stuff as well. So like, this is a hard choice.
Yeah, Balkan actually has a question that's going to jump to right away. It says, I have not unlocked Penelope yet. What happens if her shiny is the winning item? You'll get the shiny, and it'll sit there, and it'll wait for you. And then once you unlock Penelope, it'll be, bing, it'll be right there.
Yep. If you ever get gear or loot or anything for any of the champions that you have not yet unlocked, the game saves it for you. You don't lose it. It just it sits in a tiny vault somewhere in the game, and then when you unlock that champion, you get all of that fun stuff on that champion.
Exactly.
We still have a few minutes, or it looks like a minute left on the voting. Oh, a lot of people are voting for Penelope. I mean, it is, I do feel like Penelope, considering it's me, I might be accidentally skewing the vote.
No, I think you're doing good. I voted for Shaka. That was my vote. So. I
mean, I'd be happy with either, but yeah, I mean, it's Penelope. How can I not? Oh, all right. We're going to get the final results are Penelope.
Penelope. And a landslide victory.
Shaka, you're awesome.
64%.
Yeah. Shaka is awesome. We love you. If I get any more votes today from challenges, I will give Shaka a vote or two. But here we go.
Yeah.
All 3 of my votes. As dictated by chat. This is not me. This is not me. This is not me.
Totally unbiased Lauren voting for Penelope.
I am. There we go. So go ahead and definitely, if you haven't yet today, go pick up yesterday's chest and go make some votes for today and see what happens. I'm excited. Yep. And then come back on Monday. So Idle Champions presents for those that are who haven't had a chance to watch any of the shows yet, we've had 3 episodes so far. It's on Mondays from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific on this Twitch channel, and it's just a whole bunch of champions and B. Dave Walters running them through an epic adventure and where they're going after Tiamat.
No, they're all level 20, right?
They're currently level 17, but they're going to get to, if they survive, they're supposed to level up to something epic. And to be honest, the difference between level 17 and level 20, there's a little bit that, there's 1 or 2 things that happens, and it kind of depends on your class, whether that's a big deal or not. There's usually like one thing, there's like a capstone thing that you'll get, but otherwise the power difference there isn't amazing.
Yeah. If you're just if you're one single class, it's fine. If you're 2 classes, if you're a multi-class, then that might be the spike to get to what you want to be at, right?
Yeah, and once again, it depends on the classes. Like, at Wizard, so Alindra is a Wizard Cleric, but she only has 1 level in Cleric, so she was always kind of 1 level behind when getting to ASIs and feats and stuff.
Oh, just a little dip, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a Cleric dip is always good. And so for her, but that's because for her, Wizards don't necessarily get capstones that are like an epic thing you want to get to. Rogues are the same way. I've played some rogues, and those higher levels aren't necessarily something that is super, super amazing for what you're playing. Also, thank you, Drezog, for subscribing. Welcome.
Hey, thanks.
However, Penelope now just is unkillable as a level 20 druid because she can just stay in wild shape. She has unlimited wild shapes, and she can wild shape into amazing things. So this is where the thing about how druids literally become immortal, both in their mechanics and in the game. I think the flavor text of druids is at that point they literally become immortal. Clerics at level 20, when we divine intervention, our god just comes. We don't have to roll. It's amazing.
You get a free one. Yeah.
You get a super free one, and sometimes you need that for mayonnaise to happen. It depends on it depends. I'm not explaining that at all because it's funnier that way.
Man, I wish I had a sandwich. Hey, God. Yay.
I came this close once. Not as Orkira. Not as Orkira to divine intervention for a sandwich. Not yet as Orkira. I kind of want to.
Coffee has a good point that unless the ginger goldfish jump off a cliff. She was not level 20 at that point, though. But yes, agreed.
Yep. And
jumping off of a cliff as a goldfish.
She survived, because she had enough hit points, and So anyway, it kind of depends on.
No, she died.
Well, but I mean, she didn't die.
I think she died, and then got revived back right away.
Yeah, because they had Pike. Because I said, I
think Pike had the little there was an alert thing that's everyone's died once except for Keyleth, and Keyleth does the thing, and then the wristband snaps. Oh no.
Oh no, this has gone badly. Yeah. So it kind of depends on the class. It kind of depends on your features and everything, and it also depends on the flavor of the character that you're playing. But back to our original point, which was level 17 Idle Champions presents on Monday. So show up on Monday to find out how all of your votes will affect the game. Mm-hmm. And now we will get back to questions from chat.
Yeah, she was surprised she did. That's what made the entire bit funny. Mm-hmm. So she was like, "Ha, I'll be fine." No. You take 200 points of damage. What?
Falling damage, people forget sometimes how dangerous falling damage is.
Yeah.
Can I tangent one more time?
I will edit. Matt didn't cap it like he should have.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
That's technically, once you hit terminal velocity, there's only an X amount of damage you can take. It doesn't get more the farther you fall. But
was that Xanathar's new rules that it caps? I can't remember.
I think that was just base. 20 d6 I think was the highest you can take.
Okay, because I know Xanathar's there were updated rules that it wasn't updated. It was an alternative to that damage. Anyway, it's a ton of damage. Let me, for all of you DMs out there who are running dragons because dragons are cool. Maybe you got Fizbins and you're like, oh, dragons are amazing. But you're having problems with dragons actually being effective once they don't have their breath weapon. The thing to remember about dragons is that they can fly, and that the flying is not just to get away from the party. Grab someone and bring them with you.
Yes.
Swoop in, breathe, grab, fly away. Fly really far away where someone can't feather fall, and drop people. And even if it doesn't work, even if, obviously don't grab the monk, but even if it doesn't work, if they only take half damage, if someone manages to cast Featherfall, if there's something that they can mitigate it with, there's now a scramble. If you fly 100 feet away and 100 feet up and you're like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
That is how you get an extra round or two to get your breath weapon back, to go after that wizard who's counterspelling, to go after all the fun stuff. So that is my suggestion for DMs who are having a hard time making dragons be an actual thing the party should be afraid of. That's my tangent. This is your D&D Dragon PSA for today.
Dragon PSA for today. Peter D. Pan. Listen, can you fix stat feeds that aren't working on the current run and then you always have to restart to make them work? That should be fixed in version 4.10. So if you aren't on version 4.10, and there's an update available, please update. And if it's still broken, please let us know, and we will make a ticket and we'll look into that.
And I'll grab the next one, Silverian X. So the question is clearly, when I get to Trials of Mount Tiamat, do I put Legendaries on Ashara, or do I meme it up?
Meme it up.
I mean, there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah.
I'll give you the serious answer, which is actually, there's no wrong answer. Any champion you put Legendary on is eventually going to be useful, especially with like the patron events and variants that have limited numbers of champions. There are times in where we all have to use a champion that we don't necessarily always use for a variety of reasons, and there is never going to be a wrong answer. You probably want to look at some of the champions, like Sean was saying, that you use more often, or perhaps the champions that you're more likely to use in Trials of Mount Tiamat, but once again, there's no wrong answer. I know you were asking a jokey question, and now I've given you a serious answer.
Michael MGW is asking the biggest question. How do I get stronger faster?
Push-ups.
Yes. Push-ups and pull-ups.
Garwar has a guide for that.
Yeah. Okay. I will say the absolute fastest way to get stronger in the game requires spending a lot of money. But that's obviously not what your question is. So my opinion, the best way to get strong in game is just to, when you're doing an adventure, always push as far as you can to get to your wall, no matter, even if you've already finished it. It's like complete area 50, and you've beaten that, great, keep going. When you hit your wall, maybe give it about 10 minutes, see if you can level up or switch champions around, maybe use a couple ultimates, see if that gets you past it. If not, just reset, run again, and kind of rinse, repeat, keep going. Make sure you're spending your gems on chests and familiars, so you have those to help you kind of go faster. And just kind of rinse, repeat that. Do time gates, unlock patrons to get more time gate pieces, to get more champions, and yeah. It's all about, I don't think there's really like a fast way to do it. It's just all about like being consistent and making sure you're doing things kind of like the optimal path. And Discord is great to talk to about that kind of optimal path. So
discord.gg/idlechampions.
You talked and then typed.
I did. Here's the thing. I was doing something else behind the scenes producer wise. And so when I heard you say Discord, I had to jump in and I wasn't as prepared. So
yeah, no, that's fair.
There you go.
J-Dog wants to know if we can get a Lauren Oboe recording in the jukebox.
That's very nice of you to ask. I don't play on any of Jason Charles Miller's awesome music for Idle Champions, for Bardic Inspiration, though. But I appreciate it.
One day.
If I do, if there's a reason to, then there you go. If we get more Bardic Inspiration, absolutely. I'm never going to say no to Jason. He's amazing, and anything that he wants me to do, I want to do as well. But you know what? The vast majority of the songs that we write for Bardic Inspiration are more in the rock vein, and you don't hear a lot of oboe in that. So while I appreciate the suggestion and the question about it, I don't know if there's really a hunger for classical oboe in the jukebox. And listen, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. This game has a genre of music that in the jukebox that is all about the bardic inspiration. I think that's awesome and I love it. And I don't need everything to be classical music, but I thank you.
Clearly rock oboe is needed. Very, very correct.
Yes, because all of those rock oboists making tons of money and being very famous as rock oboists. Sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can be the first. You can be the first, Lauren.
I mean, the closest anyone has ever come has been the oboist who played for Kiss from a Rose for Seal.
That's awesome.
There you go. Or Simon and Garfunkel type music, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of oboe and like if you get into that kind of folk rock, maybe a little bit, but even then, not so much.
I mean, like the first time I remember hearing like violin outside of classical music was Yellow Card.
Yeah.
So there's a room for it. You can make a sound with it.
You absolutely can. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't think it's an entire genre.
Yeah.
Also, yes, SW fanatic David Oboe. Mm-hmm. That's my new name. I'm switching my name. It's no longer Lauren. It's David Oboe. I love it.
Sorry, Luke. This is David Oboe now.
Oh God, Balkan 25. Hey, if AC/DC can use bagpipes and rock, oboe should be no problem. But once again, agreed. On a song by song basis, you can use anything you want. You can craft an amazing song that includes oboe. I just don't think it's like Lauren is now a professional rock oboist.
Woodside's asking, okay, where's the forge again?
Oh, I will show you. If you come up here to this little forge icon, or the anvil icon.
Anvil. I was going to say that's an anvil.
It's an anvil. Well, it is also a forge icon in this case.
Yeah,
but
true.
if you come to these icons up here, this one says forge, and there you go. And you can forge from here. And you can decide to, what should I mean, I'm going to upgrade Orkira next if I have the scales. What should I make my next legendary?
The marshmallow ones, obviously.
I kind of want to do the marshmallows.
Marshmallow.
I mean, there's the idea of picking the thing that is the most optimal, and then there's also the idea of saying I have legendary marshmallows.
I think overall, it doesn't matter which one you pick because they all, like, I guess it depends on what they all have the same effect list, right? So it's just about the random effect you're gonna get.
That's true. All right, well, we have to make legendary marshmallows.
Yep.
I feel like I should also make this as a poll in chat. Should we make this a poll in chat?
Yeah, let's go for it. Well, which item?
Let's go back. So I think we get 3 choices for a poll. I want to say it's 3 choices. So let's go for 3. So let's say holy symbol, because she's got to have an epic holy symbol.
Yep.
Let's just go for the right side here. I think that's the safest. So holy
marshmallows,
symbol,
the pants,
or marshmallows.
Yep.
What should I? Actually, let's make sure I can upgrade all of them.
Yeah.
Yes,
it would be the same amount for all of them. So yeah.
I'm just making sure because I haven't actually looked in a little bit. So, all right, chat, I'm going to leave it up to you. Can we do the poll? Let's do the poll that lets people use their channel points.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Garwar gets to pick.
I mean, if Garwar is still here. Yeah. All right. Yes, if one of the moderators could please get a poll going in chat that lets people use channel points, because we haven't done that in a while, and
Spicy.
It's funny. And in this case, I don't really care, so it's not like it's an important vote. I'm going to just put one of the scales. I'm going to put one of the legendaries here. Holy symbol, pants, marshmallows.
Yeah.
All right, that was...
How many channel points?
Huh?
How many channel points? Per vote.
Oh.
2,000?
Is there... Oh, we should do more than that.
10,000.
How... Is it giving a limit? Sometimes it gives a limit.
Yeah. Yeah, Martin, is there a limit?
Because I'm kind of tempted to let it
Or
be.
could we do 526,000.6?
525,600 channel points?
Yeah,
How do you measure,
just to clear
measure a
Garwar.
vote?
Yeah, give him one extra vote. See, look, there's no limit. Ooh.
Let's make it 10,000.
10,000?
Yeah. Let's go 10,000.
Yeah, I think 10K.
Yeah, something high enough that those of us with a lot of channel points can dump a bunch. but low enough that the people who are new, who maybe only have a couple channel points, are not going to feel left out. So yes, I tried up to 50K. Yeah, let's do up to 10,000 that you can donate. So for those of you who haven't participated in one of these polls before, you can still vote and not use channel points, but you can then use channel points to pay for extra votes. So there we go. It is going. So do you want me to make my pants, my marshmallows, or my holy symbol legendary? And let's see. Do I?
The pay to win model. Yeah,
the pay to win model is going. I'm gonna. Yes. Yep.
Wow, it was a landslide right now.
It is a landslide. A couple people. Wow, a bunch of people. All right. Well, I'm gonna put some votes in there too. I'm not gonna say what I voted for, but we'll see. So yeah, come to chat and tell me where I should put my legendary. Meanwhile, we will answer more questions.
Freddy Siwoo has a question. What are enraged stacks? Enraged stacks are what happens when the boss has been on screen too long and needs to get stronger to help wipe you out. Or when you have 100 enemies on screen at once. Because then once you have 100 enemies, there's no more mobs stop spawning, and they'll start getting stronger via enraged stacks. So it's just a buff that the enemies get to help kill them, to help kill you, really. So.
And we've got a question from Clomson. What are the best tips for beginners? Reset often to gain more favor and progress? Yes. Yeah, definitely. Reset often. Reset. Go as far as you can. Reset. Do it again.
Yeah.
Other tips. Garwar has a guide for that.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guides. Garwar has a lot of them, but I should say come to our subreddit, our Discord, and hang out in our Twitch chats. And there's a lot of people who can help, especially with beginners. If you have any questions about how to do stuff, definitely come by all the places, ask questions. Our community is wonderful about offering answers, suggestions, and tips and tricks. But yes, definitely push to your wall and then reset. Also, and this is not necessarily super mechanical, but there's a ton to do in this game, especially when you start. Don't be overwhelmed, but see if you can figure out what you find you're getting the most fun out of. Like, do you want to try to collect champions? Do you want to try to finish off adventures? Do you want to try to maximize your formations to push your wall? Do you want to try to earn a bunch of gems to unlock a whole bunch of familiars? If you can figure out kind of what your goal is, and you can do a lot of this stuff all at once, like going to earn gems to get yourself familiars is also going to help with all the other stuff. But if you can kind of give yourself a focus of, oh, this is the thing I want to do and this is where I'm finding the most fun, that can help you kind of set your goals and decide what the next thing is to do. But definitely come to the Discord, come to the subreddit, come to all the places, and we can help.
I'm just going to tack on a quick question because Mordekin had a kind of a further enraged stack question. They're asking, do enraged stacks make the enemies have more HP or just do more damage? It'll be just more damage. Yeah.
And there's still...
You'd be kind of stuck forever if the moment you start getting enraged stacks, they start getting more HP as you're trying to kill them. The enraged stacks can go up pretty quickly. So if they're just gaining more HP as you're trying to kill them and you can't kill them, you'll hit a point like, okay, well, this is...
This is no longer attainable. This is not working.
Yeah.
And there's still a minute left on the poll for those of you joining us for deciding what I should make my next legendary item on Orkira.
Yeah.
Something is winning.
I know someone's got 70 votes to throw into Orkira's pants.
You know what? There's plenty of people in this chat who do.
Yeah. We need a couple people just to dump a couple 100,000 points into Akira's pants, and we got this. Don't worry.
There you go. All it takes is a Garwar to come along with that stock of channel points.
Yeah. You 69 votes. We need 69 votes to match. Nice.
Nice.
Monkey House has a question. Would it be possible to adjust the cooldown for trials to be 7 days minus 4 hours if you finish up early? The situation is just forces the drift. It's really annoying. It's something we're looking into. We don't have any set time frame or what we're doing for it quite yet, but it is on our to watch list to work on. So,
Severin0166 wants to know, why does Tiamat not seem mad in Idle Champions Presents 2? I think she is the ultimate deceiver. And if you don't think she's mad, she is very upset right now. She's just hiding it well. Because sometimes you don't want to give away how upset you are at something. That's my guess. I mean, the real answer is you'll have to watch and wait and see.
Yeah, it's a good guess.
And we're about to
get mad, get even. Yeah.
There you go. And what? Hey! Wow! Embrasil.
Embrasil's 230,000 channel points. Dang, dude.
I am impressed. Holy mackerel. Okay. Orkira's Marshmallows are getting the Forge treatment, which I approve of this. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see what happens.
And...
Blue.
Chaotic champions.
Well, she is a chaotic champion herself, so... Do I want to immediately upgrade?
That's Helm's favor. Yeah, go for it. Is that Helm? Is that Torm? That's Helm, yeah.
That's Helm, yeah. I'm just trying to decide if I want to upgrade or if I want to save because I'm still behind on making things legendary. So
I mean, your current cost is only 1,000 to upgrade, so it's not. I would just upgrade once and then.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, yeah.
Let's do it. Hey, all the chaotic champions. All right, I'm not going to reforge because I think that's actually pretty good. Thank you, everybody. I now have legendary marshmallows.
Hey.
That's a sentence I just said about a character that I play.
Jaga's wondering, will we get double time gate pieces 2 or 4 this week if the countdown timer is messed up as it appears to be? The timer's been fixed. It has been. We got it fixed when we figured out what was going on there. It still would only be 2. So when you hit your next time, your timer next time gate drop, it'll only be 2 pieces. It shouldn't be 4.
I'm just coming over here to the time gates.
Because what it was doing was instead of doing 1 instance of 2 time gates, it was doing 2 instances of one time gate piece each, and that was doubling the timer for it. So when we figured out that was happening, we got a fix in for it. So Sylvian's asking, what is Penelope's slot 5? Is it alt damage? I think so.
Let's.
Ultimate attack. Yeah.
There you go.
That's the one. Any hints at who the time gate heroes are going to be this week? Well, the great news about that, Malphasian, is that it's random. Everybody gets a different set of 3 champions for the time gate weekend, which is tomorrow. So at noon Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, you'll get your 3 options.
And you'll usually at that point see a lot of people either in Twitch chat or in the Discord going, "Hey, do I choose A, B, or C? Help!
Yeah.
Help!
There is a channel for that under Timegate, so make sure all that stuff kind of goes into there, and then people will come in and help you out and make suggestions. So.
Absolutely. What can also help if you're trying to decide between those 3, if you know in advance, if there's, like I was talking about before, a specific thing you're trying to do, that can also help you pick a champion. If you are like, I really need to unlock more in these specific slots, or I need more DPS, or I'm trying to get all the heroes of the plains because you should, or I'm trying to, get a specific buffer. If you have one of those ideas in mind, that can help when that trio shows up. Otherwise, people are just kind of giving you suggestions based on what they think some of the more useful champions are in a variety of situations. So if you take a second and think about your needs, then sometimes that can help. And I will just jump into this next question because I feel bad about everybody voting for Penelope over Shaka. Kiwi Mischief wants to know, I've never heard of Shaka. What does he do? Shaka is awesome. So Shaka is from the Rivals of Waterdeep, and he is a buffer, and he is a puzzle fiend. Well, he's not a fiend, I should say. You know what? Let me get another party going, and I will actually just make a Shaka formation. So one of the fun things that Shaka does when you are putting together a formation is he has what's called his puzzle, in where he'll designate specific slots on the formation, and if you fill those slots in the way he's designated, you get extra bonus buff funness. So let's come here to Witchlight. We'll just do some Carnival. I love the Carnival. It's so pretty. the carnival is just so lovely. The background for it. So let's go ahead. So what I like to do is put Chuck out there first. And yeah, so some of the other fun stuff that he does, the puzzle is the big thing for each champion. Those slots that match the slots tag, he buffs the party by 150%. He has temporary health. He gives temporary health to the entire party. So if you're looking for temp HP for people, he's really useful. So he's just fun to use. And then, yeah, let's go for that so we get a bunch. So you'll see now that he's started to put tags out there. And so what he wants is someone here who is female or non-binary. So let's get ourselves... we'll do that. We probably want... oh, well, you know what? Let's put Tahani there. Let's get some rivals out there. And this is basically how one of the main ways Shaka works, is that he's going to fill these slots in with different tags. Like, he wants a kobold here. Well, I am more than happy to give you some kobolds. Let's go...
Spurt.
Yeah, let's go Spurt. Let's go Witchlight Spurt. That's going to be awesome. We had a gold person, a person with a gold find tag up there. So, who's going to have... Actually,
I think Dinar has gold.
Dinar has gold, but also Ishii has gold. And if we're going to lean into having kobolds everywhere, let's do that. Then we'll do that. And so you see when we fill those slots with a champion who meets the tag, it glows this golden light right there, and it means that now everybody's getting a bigger buff. So it's a little bit of a puzzle sometimes to figure out, and you can reset the puzzle if the slots that are chosen are a little hard for you to fill depending on the champions you have, but he offers a really awesome buff. So definitely pick yourself up, Shaka, and have fun, and then you can start to collect all the rivals of Waterdeep.
Oops, all kobolds. Yeah.
Oops, all kobolds. Just one of my favorite things. Oops, all kobolds.
Yeah. Jidog is asking, how many Nans on screen is too many? Well, one on screen is too many, technically. Because Nan, which is NAN, stands for not a number. So that means something went wrong.
But then also you can think about Nan bread, and that's good.
Yeah. Or Batman.
Or Batman. Nan bread.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cassius is questioning, could be a skin sub-tab within collections. It's a fine suggestion. Maybe, someday. Bugs first, quality life later. That's the plan.
But it's a good suggestion to get.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's put Baby Tiamat out there for fun.
Yeah. 9Wild9 has a question. I'm a newbie, but what's the fastest way to get gold? Well, welcome to the game. The fastest way to get gold is honestly in the beginning, having Jarl Axel out and trying to fill his Drow Rogue qualifications for his Master of Piracy. So anything that'll help buff your gold find will be very beneficial. So yeah, Jarl Axel being, I think, the first gold champion you get. I think he's in slot 4.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a tank to get out there and fill that slot. Who's here we go. So this is Wolfgar.
Wolfgar? Nice.
Yeah, let's get Wolfgar out there because we've got.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fill all the requirements for the puzzle.
Yeah.
These are the moments I get distracted by.
Yeah. Ghostwalker has a question: are the rage stacks supposed to increase the boss's resistance as well as damage? Because most of the time, when they start stacking my formation, can no longer damage them, which guarantees a loss. But most of them I can move back when they immediately move forward and kill them. Well, there's no really such resistances in the game. There's something that says the higher the enrage, the less damage you do to it. The only sort of resistances that are in game are the armored health. So a lot of the times when that kind of thing happens, that when it's just the boss left and you're losing damage, it would be because maybe you have some champions that require monsters on screen, which as they die you would lose them. If you're using Krull, there's a big issue with how Trader works, where sometimes it'll kill everything and leave one behind, but the only way you were killing things was by the Trader procs. So if that is that was how you're doing it, then you're out of luck at that point. But when you go back, it might trigger the procs properly, like in a different way this time, and then have everybody die. So.
And then have everybody die.
Everybody die. Yeah. Speller Boss has a question: is Ayla's self shield bugged? I don't think so. If you think it's a bug, please make a ticket.
And if you are unsure about how to make a ticket, if you're new to the game, in most cases, the best way to do a ticket is to come down here to support, click on support. It's going to say, hey, we're going to open up a new browser tab. You say, okay. I'm not, for obvious reasons. It'll open up a new window where you can fill out all the information. That's the best way because then it'll pull information from your game, which makes it a little easier for us to figure out what's gone wrong. There's also, you can submit to an email address as well, but that's kind of the easiest way is just go ahead and click on support.
Yeah. Support tickets are definitely the best case. And then the only reason you would send an email to us would be if you can't make a support ticket for whatever reason.
Like if you can't open the game.
You can't get in the game kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Still Never TV says, oh yeah, question. Is there a max level for Legendaries? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it'll just get to a point where the requirements are so ridiculously high that we may not be able to obtain them, or it would take a very, very long time to
You say
obtain
that,
them.
but we have some dedicated players.
Oh, yeah. I think technically, Garza said technically no, functionally yes, I think.
Yeah. Which is kind of the case with a lot of stuff in this game, in where eventually you just get to a point where it's just, too expensive or too high or whatever. But yeah.
But, when I was testing things originally, my Ashar has a level 19 item on it on her. So
jeez.
Yeah. So when it came out, I was playing around with just testing how it works and seeing what I can break with it. And I was like, oh, this got pretty high. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
That makes sense. That is kind of half your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me grab this next question from Jippin. Does using legendary marshmallows and s'mores enhance their buffs or degrade it due to lack of marshmallow purity? I don't think they degrade. I would say that if you use legendary marshmallows, it definitely enhances your buffs. I mean, it's like when they add gold leafing onto food, that edible gold leaf that you can get that just makes everything pretty and kind of tastes like sugar. I think that's what it is. I think these are just golden marshmallows of joy.
The gold leaf, they can charge you $200 extra.
Yeah. What is that gold? So the edible gold leafing actually does have gold in it, but what else is it made out of? Is it sugar?
I have no idea.
I know it's not like 100% gold because obviously no, but there's what is it? It's not fondant. Because it's way more malleable than that. I love how now this has become the question.
What is edible gold leaf? Edible gold leaf is a gold product that can be used to decorate food. Gold is considered biologically inert, meaning it passes through the digestive tract without being absorbed.
Is it really just gold?
I think so.
Wow, I totally thought it was gold mixed with something else.
Yeah, I think it's just actual gold.
Well, I learned another new thing today. Welcome to Lauren Learns Things. Today I learned about how to see the kill screen or who is killing people on Idle Champions, and that gold leaf is just really, really, really thin gold, and I 100% thought it was gold mixed with something else to make it more palatable, but
and it also says that edible gold leaf does not have any taste at all. But it's usually done on sweets, so you'll get the sugar and stuff.
Oh, and here we go. Our Green Paradox. Loose leaf edible gold sheets, 24 karat certified by Earth Kosher. Gold is kosher. What? 24 karat metal leaf. I'm looking because there's a price here. 24 karat 81, $14.99 in stock. Okay.
That doesn't seem real. But
I mean, it might be. You might just, because it is super, 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 super thin. But all right. There you go. Good to know. Everybody is collecting gold in the game to not just level up their champions, but to eat.
Yeah.
And to eat.
Yeah. Go player 7. Go player 7. If any of the team 2 champions are planned to be given away similar to Havilar. Will they be blocked for the time gate? No. We only... Did we give away Havilar, or was that because of the skin?
There were a couple of... So not the kobold skin.
Yeah.
Here, let's...
Yes, probably the Ascendant ones, right?
Yeah, because there were a couple of Ascendant ones that...
I think I just saw it, yeah.
So here's the Ascendant Havilar that was given away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what they're talking about. It's like,
unlock,
if there's an Ascendant, here's the Baloth one. I'm trying to make sure I only talk about specific ones because I need to make sure I remember the correct things.
Yeah.
I don't think they got blocked by time gates. That's
no, they wouldn't know. The only thing that gets blocked by time gates is when an event is happening, and it gets blocked like that Friday before the event.
Yeah, and there'll be a little indicator. Hey, there's an indicator that says something about why it's blocked. It doesn't just let you. It doesn't just say, you can't use this. It says something about upcoming time gate champion or something like that. Upcoming event champion or something.
Yeah,
so
something like that. Yeah.
That is good to know, though. That is a thing to think about, but that might be a little more difficult to implement.
Yeah, I think it's because it's such a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't adjust the game to match that. And if anything, if let's say you unlock Havilar, and then get a time gate for Havilar, that's just getting chests, and even the other way around. At that point, you're still winning. You're still getting a skin, especially if it was from a free time gate. So
it's an understandable question.
Yeah.
But at the moment, no. If you get them through the Ascendant skins, it's not going to block them from a time gate.
Yeah. He's Jingshin. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Any words, thoughts on when Split the Party 3 might make it into the game? Ooh, the fourth party. Probably.
Fourth party.
Yeah, mythical fourth. Probably not for a while. But we launched Split the Party 2, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So probably be my honestly educated best guess next year. We haven't had any internal plans on when to do that quite yet. So it's probably going to be sometime still. Arrowstone says, in the time gate selection screen, what are the deciding factors on who are the most popular champions? Is it how many accounts have them, or how many times the time gates are chosen, or what?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
I feel like I know the answer to this.
I'm going to come on over here to the time gate so I can show off what they're talking about.
I think it's based off of time gates open for them. I think.
All right, so here we have by popularity, and so I'm not sure how we can tell how many time gates are open for each of these.
Yeah, it's either time gates or usage. I think it's time gates opened. So
interesting.
So Esmeralda is the least popular opened.
But are we talking about globally, or are we talking about for me in specific? If we're looking at mine.
So this is also compared to like the kind of the game itself, right? So like this will the most popular champions across the entire game.
Okay.
From everybody globally being like, yes, like that's not catered to you.
Whereas item level will be.
Yes, yeah.
Item level
will be catered towards who's your most scared and least scared. Yeah.
Yep. Time to event is also a good one to take a look at to see, all right, who's the furthest and who's the closest.
Yeah. Honestly, the Krons. So go back to the popularity one, and for the most popular, the Kron time gate is probably one guy. I'm not kidding.
Oh.
It's there's one of the players in Discord is a devout Kron user, who has like 10,000 item levels on Kron, and has his time gate at the area of requirement level 2,000 and higher. Like, all he does is run Kron time gates.
I mean, hey, if you're a fan of Kron, go for it. I've used Kron quite a bit. I got some really good gear on Kron when he came out, so I was using him a lot.
Kron is actually, in terms of DPS, one of the better ones at the very, very end game. We're talking like super high investment item levels. So the way it works is in the kind of the early game, Hitch, Jarlaxle, and Minsk are kind of like your really good starter ones. Mid game to late game is your Zorbu and Ashara. They'll do really, really good in that time frame. And then the late game, when you have all this extra stuff to dump into people, is Kron and Artemis. Those two are if you put all the effort and material into them, they are the peak DPS you can reach in the game. With Artemis being the top, and then Kron being below. Yeah, they are the highest point of the ceiling. Yeah.
There you go. For those of you who are looking for a place to get to, Kron.
But they require a lot of investment, like so much.
But you're probably already putting a lot of investment into the game, into time and playing, if you're at that point anyway. So
yeah, this is like every like blacksmithing contract you ever get would go into those two champions or into one of those champions.
Yeah.
And then because the Kron you need about like 10,000 item levels, and that's the point where you're like, okay, this is very, very effective, I think. So yeah, the min-maxing though, yeah, exactly.
You've leveled up Kron. You're super effective.
Yeah.
It's super effective.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip over to Seeker Sublime's question. Is Witchlight a permanent campaign? It seems to have come up recently. It is a permanent campaign, and it has come up recently. It's our latest in our permanent campaigns. So, yes, you will be able to play that. If you haven't unlocked it yet, you will have time to get to it. It's not a limited time event. And it's got absolutely gorgeous art.
They're just so good and so wacky.
Oh, it's Witchlight. So
yeah, exactly.
But yes, especially for our newer players, if you haven't had the chance to unlock it yet, never fear, you will have time to see all that gorgeous art. It is a permanent campaign.
Mm-hmm. Cass has a question. Any way to get the complete an adventure with X champions highest DPS challenges to forget champions that aren't in the formation anymore? Any way to get the... I mean, if they were in the formation already when you started it and they did a bunch of DPS and then removed them, their number was still there and recorded, so you'll just need to have someone else do higher damage than that. So yeah, it wouldn't remove them from that.
But if they're no longer in the formation, then those numbers should update. So
yeah, it will eventually update. Yeah, but if I guess the comparison, if your Ashara is doing E100 damage, and then it's like you need Alindra to do it, so you remove Ashara, and then Alindra's like, I do E60 damage. It's going to be a very, very, it's never going to happen. Actually, it's not going to be a long time. It just won't happen.
Yeah.
The difference there is too huge. So.
Also, we have reached the point where we're starting to slow down our role here in Witchlight, and the DPS is starting to stack for Birdsong. So
there it goes. Yeah.
So what was it? Shift LLL? Is that what it was?
Control LLL.
Control LLL. So my guess is we're going to start seeing a lot more Birdsong on this list. It kind of depends what the ult has gone off recently, because some of them end up buffing so many people that you can see Baloth and Beetle are still up there. But yeah, it's definitely... Birdsong is starting to be our main DPS by far.
Yeah. Q Mister wants to know if you recommend Birdsong.
I do. I think they're fantastic. Yeah. They're probably not the strongest DPS in the game, because they do offer some support. And I love using them with the Heroes of the Plains formation for a bunch of different reasons. One, they're in a slot that isn't taking away from the rest of the Heroes of the Plains. But two, because they get buffed, and they buff a lot depending on their alignment, and several of the Heroes of the Plains also buff based on alignment, that lines up really nicely. So if you're paying attention to, they're lawful neutral, you can kind of line up everything really well, and the speed at which they attack is incredibly useful. Also, I think they're just a really effective DPS with some really good support capabilities that are easy to work around or work with, I should say. So, and specifically when I stick them in with a whole bunch of Heroes of the Plains, they just work really, really well. There's other if I was using different formations, if I wasn't like, I must have all of my friends in my formation, there's probably some other DPS that would be slightly stronger. But I think in general, Birdsong is solid as both a DPS and as a support.
I definitely agree with that. Birdsong is definitely, I think, up there in the kind of the mid-tier DPSs, but doesn't. It's the floor to ceiling between the mid-tier and the high tier is quite large. But I think Birdsong does really good in her slot and what she does. So,
and the fact that she attacks so frequently can be. You can definitely build a formation around her that makes her super effective. Is the Heroes of the Plains formation the best? Probably not. But once again, I play this game for funsies, and I'm not necessarily, unless it's like a Trials of Mount Tiamat formation and where I really am trying to build something super optimal because I'm working with a team. In the most cases, I'm just building semi-optimal for fun. But there's some formations you can build around her and her speed that are really, really effective.
I think Barrowin would be pretty good to add on to that too, because I think Barrowin increases or makes it so that people attack faster.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good attachment, and then adding on freely with that to match. Oh, wait. Gara just said no. Am I incorrect? Barrowin wants slow attackers. Oh, I thought it was the other way around too, but.
Yeah, but you're right that what you want are people who are going to buff fast attackers to make them attack faster, because then Birdsong becomes kind of amazingly ridiculous how fast she attacks. So we only have another minute or two left before we have to go, because I'm going to be helping out with Idle Insights, running that show, and so. So stick around for Idle Insights. Todd Kenrick has a video that is going to be playing where he got a chance to interview Tristan Falcone and Ryan Hartman from the C Team. So that's going to be awesome. So stick around for that after the show. And then after that, Developer Insights. More chances for questions to get answered about this game.
Q&A day.
It is Q&A day. Also, it's important to let everybody know this show is going to be off for the next 2 weeks. We are on break for 2 weeks. Why? Well, next week is a holiday in Canada, and so Sean is going to be enjoying a day off. The week after that, we're off for reasons that we can't talk about just yet, but we will be back after that. Ironically enough, we will be back on the 25th of November, which is American Thanksgiving. But guess what? I'm gonna be here to help you out. Aw. So yes, we're gonna be off for 2 weeks. So definitely, for those days, you're gonna have to wait a little bit for some of the Q&A, but we will.
It'll be a very busy Q&A when we come back.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
And was there anything else we wanted to talk about real quick?
Really quick, Q Mischief was asking if Birdsong is an evergreen. Birdsong is a year 1 champion.
Yep. So time gates.
Yeah.
All the time gates.
Yep.
Oh, TTRP gifts. I can't tell you what reasons yet. They're good reasons, though. They're happy reasons.
The fun reasons.
They are super fun reasons and good reasons. They haven't been announced yet.
Yep.
So for reasons. Anyway, if you have other questions that you would like to get answered, come by our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, and join us there, where there's always community members and people who are happy to try to help you and answer all of your questions. And I think that's about it. Sean, thank you for joining me on this awesome.
Always.
It's amazing to have you and your extensive knowledge. Thank you to Martin and Mars for helping us out with the chat and helping produce and grabbing questions and doing polls and everything else that makes this whole fun thing work. Thank you, chat, for asking all sorts of fun questions and confirming that Orkira is awesome. And we will see you next encounter. Bye.
Bye. See you guys tomorrow for pancakes.